Hi guys, we're back. I'm gonna do a video that is kind of difficult for me to do, anyways, right?
Guys,
Because it's about me, and I don't really like talking about my life all that much.
he's been rehearsing, and I felt that he's having stress.
Yeah, I've been thinking about this shit for weeks, right? Trying to figure out how to get out of it, but apparently I can't. So, anyways, what it comes down to,
Ay!
what it comes down to is collapse. Apparently.
The stick collapses.
Right.
Okay, hold on.
Oh Lord. How's it going? Ah, good.
Good? Is that good?
You cut my head
Ay!
off. No, it's too low. Let's try it again. There. Let's see if it'll tip over again.
It's like
It-
it's
Hmm?
it's ano. Okay, it's okay. Sige, go.
It's good. And anyways, this video is kind of about how the my life and Rose's life, if how that it kind of like intertwine, to make us how we are, to have met one another.
You can do it.
Yeah, I can do it. I think, like I say, I don't like this, and so no, like kind of like the parodies of what made us kind of alike, throughout life, and how we are today. So,
Okay.
anyways, so where do I start?
Start from the beginning.
The beginning. Well, first I was inside my mom's tummy. Oh no. I'm not. So, anyways, I originally grew up in Stillwater, Minnesota. It's a small little town over there. Anybody that lives in like the Midwest or in Minnesota or Wisconsin probably knows where that's at, on the St. Croix. And it was a small little hobby farm that my parents had. And boy, did we get in trouble there. You grew up in the mountains, right?
Yeah.
And so I was out where there weren't a lot of people. I mean, the closest neighbor was like a half a mile away on a dirt road.
Hold on. We seem to be far.
Huh?
Far from the video.
You're messing it up.
We are missing it, guys.
Yeah.
Oh, see, that's better.
There. Hey,
Okay.
you're much more beautiful than I am.
All because I'm a woman. You're handsome because you're a man.
Yeah. Handsome.
So I will be just your background because today is your moment.
Yeah. So anyways, I grew up in that small little community and got into all kinds of trouble, obviously.
Oh,
What?
I love that trouble.
Yeah. I was kind of one of those kids. Of course, my entire family was, I think. But I'm trying to think where to go with this.
I don't know. Begin with your high school days. What happens after
No,
your high school?
high school was later on.
Okay.
I was like, it was like I was 11 when we moved from the farm to the
Okay.
city, which I hated. We'll go into that later. But anyways, I don't know how this is gonna work. I don't know how to start.
It's a highway song.
Yeah,
You
well.
sing it on and on. You've been practicing
Have
this
a
one
beer.
for a week.
I haven't been practicing anything. I'm trying to figure out how to.
Tell them
present it.
your story, your adventure when you were little, when you were in a lake or in a resort.
No, that was when I was a teenager.
Oh, okay.
That was far beyond being in Stillwater. But anyways, when we grew up there, I don't know how to put this. Lord, we're gonna have to restart this.
No, you
Yeah.
can do it.
Huh? No.
What do you
Well,
mean?
what should I do? Maybe I'll talk about the first times that we got really injured
Okay.
on the farm, and so, anyways, my hey, what happened to the fan?
Maybe the power is out.
Uh-oh. again.
It has nothing to do with you
Yeah. And
telling your story.
anyways, my dad on the farm, he had an old John Deere tractor, a little one, where he had to start it by spinning the wheel on there, you know, kind of thing. And in the wintertime, we had one of these old Coca-Cola metal signs that they used to have, right? That they used for billboards, and we made it into this great big old saucer that he attached to the tractor, and we would go out. He would go out with all of us kids in this saucer, having it attached, and he would go out and he would start spinning us around, slow but sure, on this saucer. And he always told us kids, you know, if something happens where the cable or the rope or whatever we used broke, to jump off of the thing. But you know, most of the kids had already gotten thrown out anyways. You know, the younger ones had gotten thrown out. You know, over you go. And so anyways, all of a sudden, you know, after a few times of doing this, you know, a few different days, all of a sudden the rope broke, right? And off goes the saucer. And it's like, well, the problem is there was a barbed wire fence, and you know, not all that far away from there. And so there were only two people left in the sled, and that was my two older brothers, right? Well, the one jumped out, but the other one, no, that's my brother Todd.
Where were you?
I had already been thrown out.
Ah.
I was in the snow as I tumbled. But anyways, he stayed on the sled, and off that thing went. Well, I guess in kind of a savings grace, there was a pile of old cut down trees there, and the sled went and it ran into that pile of trees that were all frozen into the ground. Well, he fucked up his back, to say the least. But at least he didn't go into that barbed wire. That would not have been good.
Yeah.
And so
it could cut him into
yeah,
pieces.
it cut him into pieces. But so anyways, to say that was the end of that fun. Mom made sure that didn't happen anymore.
Yeah. Good for you.
Yeah.
That was before your surgery, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I was back at that time. I was probably about, I don't know, 7,
Yeah.
maybe.
Well,
And-
all stuff in the kids days is fun.
How did you get banged up when you were younger? What happened to you?
Many times.
What?
I was hit by a rock. I don't know if I have a scar over here. Can you see the scar over here?
Oh yeah, it's huge.
Yeah, when we were throwing a stone on the fruit, like a santol fruit that we had there. My schoolmates, because we're not allowed to climb the tree, so we're just throwing rocks to get the fruits. So the rocks falls on me here. But as you know, guys, when we were kids, if our parents know that we will get hurt, they will hurt us more, right?
That's very true.
They will hurt us more. So when I was kid, I had my hair cut. I do I cut hair, short hairs to cover the injury from here.
Oh,
So I had to cover it.
You tried to put it over this way.
Yeah,
Hard
I had
hide.
to put it there until
Yeah. Ooh,
until
very sexy there.
I think parents are very smart enough to find out what's wrong with her. Yeah, because it was not it was unusual for me to have the hair cut, you know, because I don't like it. I have my long hair, and then all of a sudden I have a bangs. They call it bangs, you know, when you're having like that.
Oh,
So that's how
thanks. There.
Yeah, that's how I
Let-
remember.
let's-
That's the only time I got in trouble.
Let's try and hide my wrinkles. I don't think
And
I don't think it's working though.
No, when we were playing hand with the
Thanks for
with
your
the
support.
slide, because we were in the mountains, high from here, guys. we have a mountain like this, and we have the coconut palm to ride on, to slide.
Oh yeah.
I shoot on the water drainage on the rice field, and this arm, I don't know if this arm or this one become like this, you know, because
Twisted it back.
I twisted it, and oh God, that hurts.
Oh yeah.
We
You didn't break it though, right?
I don't know what did my father did to it, because I cannot bring it here. It just it keeps like this.
What did it dislocate your shoulder?
Yeah, I think, and I well, unfortunately, I cannot hide that one, guys. So my cousins and brothers were really worried about me, so they called father.
Yeah.
When they arrive in the scene, it just like close your eyes, and you know, all of the sudden it like that. He puts it into place.
He put the joint back.
But did we hurt? Yeah, still we get hurt. Yeah. No, I mean,
why? You're a strong woman. You actually cried?
It was very painful, guys.
I don't believe her.
When it was hurting. It was really hurt. When we get home, the rest of my brothers will get spanked. But me. My
What did they have to do with it?
It's because we are not allowed to do that.
Why'd they get spanked? And not you?
It's because I was already hurt enough.
Oh. I see. So they were doing it too, huh?
Because I was younger. I mean I was the little ones, and they were already big, and they supposed to watch out for the younger sisters, or you know. And unfortunately, it was fun doing the slide, guys. And off we go, because it's a hill like that. Of all those Carabao grasses when it's dry.
Oh yeah.
Because we normally do it in the afternoon. No, dry.
Dry works better?
It slides better when it's dry.
Okay.
And we had those coconut palm dry as well, so it really slide good. We did many times before the accident.
Right.
You know, I was not able to. I think by that time I really slide very very fast, that I can't control.
See how I switch this over to her talking instead of me?
Okay. Oh, it's your turn.
So anyways, that wasn't my injury that I got on that saucer thing. That was my brother. And so, anyways, the next biggest injury I can remember was I was over at my buddy Steve's place, right? And they had a farm, and his parents were immigrants from Germany, type of thing, and their grandmother lived with them too. And so, anyways, they had a farm, and in Stillwater, it's like really rolly hills that are there, and we were screwing around. They had like one of these long German toboggans. And we had hooked it up to a long tractor that they had, right? and we're pulling it around, and there's like 3 or 4 of us that are riding on this toboggan. You guys know what a toboggan is. Anyways, we were going up one of these hills, and the lawn tractor got stuck. It started spinning. So us kids jumped off of the toboggan. Hey, dogs. Jumped off of the toboggan, right, and pushed the lawn tractor up to the top. I mean, that was common that it got stuck going up the hills. And usually my buddy would stop when we got to the top so we could all get back on. Well, this particular time, he decided not to stop. He just kept on going. And I was the first one to jump onto the toboggan right in the front, you know, where it's curved. You know, kind of thing. I was the first one to jump on, and I got on fine. And then the kid behind me, he jumped on, but he lost his balance, and so he grabbed my shoulders, and that ended up pulling me back and over, and I fell off the toboggan, right? Which would have been fine, except for the fact, back in those days, they didn't really have safety standards on the toboggans, because the way they held the mat onto the toboggan was with a bolt with a wing nut, right? And that bolt stuck up about this far, like an inch or something, or like a couple of inches. Where are you going?
Just go ahead. I'll get water.
And so anyways, when I tipped over, I flipped over and my knee smacked right on top of that bolt with the wing nut, and it drove in, and then it was dragging me along with this toboggan. Well, eventually it broke loose, right? And I got up, and it's like, something not good here. And there was obviously a tear in my pants, which
legs.
yeah, which yeah, I was upset about, because that was my good school clothes, and I thought, oh shit, I'm in trouble with mom now.
Yeah.
Right. And so anyways, long short, all of a sudden, there was quite a bit of blood and stuff in there, and I could tell I was hurt. And so I went to walk down, out of the field, and there was this fence that I had to go over, and being a guy with CP, my legs didn't work very good anyways, and so I had to try and climb over this fence with an injured leg. And we get down there, and I'm trying to climb over this, and my buddy, he was with me, and he's going, whoa, you got, I mean, there was a lot of blood.
You're fucked.
Well, yeah, but I was still walking. And anyways, we walked up to in front of the house where they had a trampoline, right, a big old trampoline. And he was saying, we should go inside and see. And I said, let me lay on the trampoline for a little bit. I just laid on the trampoline with my legs hanging over. And all of a sudden there was so much blood that it's like, no, we have to go in and see my dad. And his dad actually worked for the hospital. He was an X-ray technician. So I went inside and sat down, and he took and he looked inside the hole in my pants, and he ripped the pants open, right? So that and then when I was looking, I got a good view. You can't see the scar because it's pretty faded nowadays. But anyways, I could actually see my knee joint in
really?
In that wound. Yeah, I could actually see my knee.
That must be deep.
Yeah, it was. And so, anyhow, off they go to bring me to the doctor, right? And his parents had, back in that day, a Jeep, right? An old Jeep, and they looked different back then than they do now, because the not the wheel wells, but the stalls where your feet go, right? It was almost kind of like a tray. And anyways, as we're going along, going to the doctor's office, right? I remember that where you put your feet, it was kind of getting really saturated with blood, right? Well, we got to the doctor's office, and my mom had, I don't know if she called my mom or not. I don't think so, because they didn't have cell phones back then. Anyways, my mom had just happened to have been at that doctor's office with my older brother, and so anyways, they get me out of the Jeep, and they're helping me along, right? And going in through the waiting room and stuff, and there's all kinds of people waiting to see the doctor, right? And they're all just like looking at me and going, and there's like this trail of blood all the way along. And so I don't think any of those people were upset about the fact that they were going to have to wait for a while to see the doctor. Oh, Lord. And so anyways, it ended up, I don't know, like 75 stitches later, they put it all back together, right? Kind of thing.
Okay.
And so that healed. And then my friends parents, their insurance adjuster, you know, came over and was talking to my parents about, well, what do you want, right? And they didn't ask for anything, but they, you know, it's just the way it goes automatically if somebody gets hurt bad. And so, anyways, my parents says, well, we don't want anything. It's just an accident. The only thing we want is if there's any uncovered expenses on the medical, because my dad had good medical. He worked for 3M, right? And so he said to my parents, he goes, that's amazing. I've never heard this before, kind of thing. But that's the way my family was. It's like, hey, it's just kids. They were playing, having fun, and.
You mean you didn't get hurt more?
Well, I was hurt, but you know, it doesn't, you know.
No, I mean, in our days when we are hurt by us playing, we will get hurt more from our parents because we will have a punishment by getting hurt.
No, I didn't get punished for tearing up the pants, the school pants. So, anyways, that's just you know, the story of where I got injured. And it eventually healed. It did get infected, and I had to put all these hot pads on it all the time. You know, hot water pads on it all the time to leach out the infection and stuff like that. But eventually it healed, and so life was good.
Here you are now.
Yeah. So, anyways, since this video is about you know, being torn up, how we got torn up as kids, and how we, you know, survived to live another day.
Yeah.
Right? And so I don't know how else to do this other than to like categorize subjects. And so, yeah.
Honey, you all have the time.
Oh, I'll have the time.
It's all.
Never know. I might get injured tonight. But anyways, then out on the farm there, my brother, the same one that didn't jump off that saucer and smashed into that pile of trees and took away that fun, right? He was out riding a horse because we had horses on the hobby farm, right? Well, all of a sudden one day, for whatever reason, that horse took and went over and dragged him along a barbed wire fence and tore him all to hell. I don't know the exact details of what they had to do to patch him up, but that's the way that goes. And so then my oldest brother, right? He had fallen and broken his collarbone, and I think it was my mom that brought him to the hospital or wherever, the doctor or wherever. Like I say, I'm pretty young at this time. I don't remember it in great detail, but anyways, when they got back to the house, my dad opened up the door, and here's my brother with this like harness thing that they put on to kind of like hold your collarbone in place because they can't really put a cast or anything on it, right? And my dad's response to him was, "Sir, the parachuting area is over that direction. You're in the wrong place." Oh Lord, my dad had a sense of humor, for sure.
Yeah. So he was not mad at all?
How are you going to be mad when a kid gets hurt? I mean, they're just out. That was back in the days when we actually used to play.
Your parents have a sense of humor. Mine does not have.
Oh yeah.
Whenever you get injured or accident, you'll get hurt more.
It's like it was there back in that days where, you know, kids played outside all day long, kind of like it is here nowadays in the Philippines. The kids are always out playing around and falling down and getting hurt.
Smash their nose, smash their forehead, smash everything, their knees. Yeah.
And so, fast forward on the injury type stuff. Let's see. Then, when did I get banged up again? Oh, there was one time we had over at my buddy's house, a different buddy, right? We had this rope swing in a tree with a tire, right? And they would jump out of there and go swinging down. We all did, right? And go swinging down and around and around. It was a it was a high tree.
Yeah.
So it was long.
Okay.
Anyways, what we would do is all the rest of us guys, we would pick like weeds, tall weeds, and as they came down and were swinging, we would take and throw these weeds at them to try and hit them. Right. Well, one time, the guy, instead of like jumping straight down, he took and he jumped off at an angle, kind of like circular, and I was over there, and boom, he got me straight in the face with his feet. Right? Boy, that was
Karma.
straight in the face, knocked me out, effing cold. I was out. That was like my second concussion I had, because I had another concussion from earlier.
Good thing it didn't break your nose.
Yeah, well, yeah, who knows? It's a big one, so it would take a major hit to do that. But the first one I got was when we were out sliding on a hills at a park, right?
Yeah.
For one of my buddy's birthdays. And anyways, we were sliding along, and the two of us collided and smashed heads. And I to this day don't remember a whole hell of a lot about it. I've slowly pieced it back together over time.
Yeah.
But yeah, we banged heads, and it like knocked me out and gave me a concussion or whatever. And then his mom brought me back and put her in her bedroom to go to sleep, which is not a good idea, obviously, if you've had a concussion, because they say not to sleep if you've had a concussion.
You have to stay awake.
Yeah, but anyways, I survived that one as well. And then the next trauma in my life was I don't know if I call it trauma or not. But
Let's just call it injury.
yeah, and so anyways, was up at my parents' resort, right? I had I had a Honda Trail 70 that I used to drive around, and we were inseparable. And I was out driving around on the dirt roads, and anyways, this
Rusty.
the dog's
okay.
messing with it. There they go again. And anyways, I was out driving along on the dirt Gunflint Trail, they called it, and this car went by that had a whole bunch of young women in it, right? And it's like, ooh, I think I was like, I don't know, 14, 15 at the time. I don't remember exactly.
No, 14. You were having your surgery with your cerebral palsy.
That was in the wintertime.
Okay.
This is summertime. And so anyways, I turned around and I'm following this car, trying to chase it, right? Which I did. They were going down to the other resort that was on the lake that my parents had a resort on, which is called Seagull Lake.
Yeah.
Which is the lake of sky blue waters. The Hams commercials with the bearer and stuff were all filmed on that lake. If you guys remember any of that. We have an older audience, so they probably will remember that. I think it was a regional beer, though.
Guys, Randy is calling you old, guys.
I'm old.
Only Carabao gets old. Maybe it's age.
So anyways, I'm following behind them, and into this road to the resort, which is like real curvy and hilly and this and that, right?
Okay.
And it's dusty. So I'm following them, and I'm going down this steep hill on the motorcycle, and I don't know. I think I was doing like 45 miles an hour, and their car was kicking up dust, something fierce. So I went to wipe the dust out of my eyes, right? So I only had one hand on the handlebar with the throttle, and all of a sudden, right when I did that, I hit the washboard pattern on the dirt road, right? Boom, 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 boom. And it kicked the handlebar completely sideways because I only had the one messed up hand on the throttle, right? And over I went, boom, 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 boom. Well, I got knocked out again that time. I don't know for how long because I was the only one there. All I know is when I woke up, right?
You're already in the hospital.
No, my motorcycle was
Ah.
on its side and revving wide open. And so I got up and you know, shut it off, and there was oil coming out of the you know, the crankshaft, I guess you would call it, that comes out. There was a whole pile of oil there, so I must have been out for a while. So, anyways, I got up. I knew I was injured. I didn't know exactly how, and so I got out of the motorcycle, and I was able to make my way back the couple of miles to the resort, our resort, my parents' resort, right? And I went into the little cabin that I lived in.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to see, you know, because it's on the back of the leg is where the injury is at.
Mm.
And I could tell it was messed up, and I'm going, ah, shit. Here we go again. And so I walked up to the trailer that my mom was in, right? Because my dad was down working in the cities, you know, for 3M. And so anyways, I went up and showed her, and she's going, ah, jeez, you know, hearing this and that. So I've got to go to the hospital because I'm all tore up. And
This is amazing. You were still able to manage to drive for a few miles
yeah.
after you stumbled
Yeah,
down so many times.
I had to sit like sideways because I couldn't put my leg on that seat because it hurt like hell.
Really?
Yeah.
Well,
So,
I have a new nickname for you.
what's that?
A man with 9 lives.
9 lives.
It's
Huh?
you're like a cat.
Meow. No, you're the cat. so anyways, she had my sister bring me to the hospital, which was like 60 miles away,
Oh my god.
right? And she had I think it was a Firebird, right? And it had white interior, white like leather seats or vinyl seats. I don't know which ones. Anyways, you can imagine how well that went over. Same kind of problem with that Jeep, right? There was blood everywhere, and she was.
I bet your sister didn't like it.
Well,
But
yeah,
he has to take
I don't
you.
know. We'll have to ask her. She's still alive. I'll ask her one day. So anyways, we get to the hospital. You know, 60 miles away. Get into the emergency room, and there's no doctor because this is just a small little town. Right? Grand Marais, Minnesota. You guys can Google it, and some of you may know it. and so, anyways, get to the emergency room, and there's no doctor. Well, the doctor is out at a party. And
Lucky you.
yeah, and there was another kid in the emergency room. He wasn't in the same room as me, but he had a collapsed lung. Right, and so when the doctor showed up like an hour later,
Yeah.
right, he tended to that kid first because obviously that was more serious than my injury,
Yeah.
and so by the time he got to me, which was like a couple hours later, plus the hour and something trip.
Good thing you were not bleeding much.
No, it had kind of sealed itself up. Anyways, when he finally gets to me, right, that was the problem. He's going, it was about that wide. It was a puncture wound from something. I don't know if it was from like the foot peg from the motorcycle or the shifter or what, right? And it had started sealing itself back up by the time he saw me. So he had to break it open. And then he had to take like a turkey baster. Do you know what a turkey baster is? Right? It's for like basting turkeys. People in America know what it is, right? He had to take and do that and try to baste out all the gravel and dirt and crap that was in there. It was deep. It was down to like my leg bone. I have a tendency of getting injured down to the bone. And so anyways, he did that. He stitched it up. but it was so
Yeah.
deep, he had to put a drainage tube in it, right?
Really?
Yeah, for it to drain,
Holy
because
shit.
otherwise, if he stitched that up, right,
Yeah.
and that wound couldn't, excuse the expression, ooze out, right, it would have been a
Yeah.
problem. So he did that, and the thing that pissed me off about it was when I got back, I couldn't really ride my motorcycle because it hurt too damn bad on there. So I had to wait until they pulled that tube out and then stitched it up. So, anyways, that's another injury that I recovered from. Fine.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
You must be the man. As I said, you must be the
Yeah.
man with 9 lives. You're a
Oh,
cat. We
Oh,
should-
I remember another time I got knocked out too.
Again?
Yeah, on my motorcycle. This was out in Stillwater. We had already moved to Brooklyn Park.
So guys,
Or
this
Brooklyn
video is
Center.
all about injuries.
Yeah, that's what we said. And so anyways, I was out there. We had already moved to Brooklyn Park, I think, or Brooklyn Park or Brooklyn Center, which I hated, right? Because that was the first time I had ever lived in a suburb of a city. I hated it there. And so anyways, I had this motorcycle, and I was with my buddy, the same one that tore me up with that lawn tractor. Right? He had a motorcycle too, and we were riding along the railroad tracks and this and that, this particular time we were in a farm field. They all had a path there, right?
Yeah.
Well, I was going to pass one of the other kids, right? Unbeknownst to me, I didn't know it was like they had plowed that field, so there's these great big rows. You know what plowed fields are like, right? Great big rows, but there was weeds growing over the top of it. I didn't know it was there. And so I hit that, and of course, I wiped out completely. Over and over and over I went. And when I woke up from that one, I'm laying on the side of the road with the cops over the top of me. And this is about 50 feet away from where I wiped out, 50, 60 feet. That's how far I flew. Yeah, and the cops are above me when I woke up on that one. It was like, hey, Lord. I don't know. Like you say, I've had 9 lives. And so anyways, I recovered, and off I went. I didn't
So
go
guess what?
I didn't go to the hospital.
You're with me. I'm your final life.
Yeah, I wonder how she's going to kill me.
I have to think of a better way, guys.
Yeah.
Because he seems to be survived all of that tragedies.
I think it's going to have something to do with pigs. Pigs or a motorcycle.
So anyway, guys, this has been a long video. Thank you for staying and watching as usual. You have a very wonderful day. Thank you for your love and support.
Yeah, and so that was basically all the injuries I had, that I can recall.
So that was all injuries with you?
Yeah, I had a lot of close calls where I should have been dead, but
Yeah.
we won't even go into those.
Well, you have a very
involving snowmobiles and stuff like that.
you have a very, very active guardian angel.
Yeah.
Because all of us has a guardian angel. Every accident, every tragedy that happens to us, we have a guardian angel. So you have a very you are thankful with your guardian angel. He's very protective and
So, anyways, I think the next video will well you guys comment as to what it is you want to hear about. I think next part I'm going to explain is how I made a living, from a childhood up through coming to be with Rose.
Yeah, it's fun to hear children's story or
Yeah.
but your story, hon, is not fun to hear. It's all tragedy.
It's just life.
Anyway, bye guys.
I'm still here to be misery to you.
Oh yeah. See you in the next video.
All right, guys. Goodbye.
Love you guys.
Let us know how you want us to tell the story. I don't know how to do it.
He has a trouble of combining all stories, guys.
Yeah.
So as we said in the beginning, I find him very stressed on how to start the video. But anyway, he's able to made it. So
Yeah.
he made it.
All right. Cheers,
Congratulations,
guys.
Honey Pie.
Be safe.